Hello out there, fourth grade distance learners. Today we're talking about writing a personal narrative, an experience from your life. And you will be writing your own personal narrative that I can't wait to read. Actually, I'm super stoked. So, as we cruise through here, let's read a good example. A Trip to Remember. This is the book that we have with our series. And so I have it here in paper copy, but you have it digitally by clicking on A Trip to Remember and then A Trip to Remember, and you can access those. We will read all four of these chapters. They are written by kids your age, but we're going to start with Mission Beach, San Diego. So here we go. And maybe I should back up here because I want to tell you a little bit about personal narratives. So, what is a personal narrative? That's an excellent question. A personal narrative is a nonfiction text that recreates an experience from the author's life. So, nonfiction, I always remember it as not false because fiction is false. So, nonfiction, false, so not false. It's a true story from your life. A personal narrative has a strong point of view, usually the first person. A lot of times you'll see the word I because it happened to you. So, you'll start with the word I. First person. It also communicates a distinct mood or overall feeling. Most personal narratives are about something big in the author's life, such as a proud or sad moment, a trip or an adventure, or even an event that changed attitudes or actions. What's the purpose of a personal narrative? A personal narrative is a way to describe an experience so that others feel like they were there. Writers do this by using sensory details. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about sensory details. What they saw, heard, touched, and smelled, and tasted, and by including important events, characters, and dialogue. Again, we'll work with events, characters, and dialogue as we write our own. Writers explain what happened and also tell what they were thinking at the time and how they felt. How do you read a personal narrative? The title will likely give you a clue about the experience that the author will describe. As you read, pay close attention to the sequence of events. Ask yourself, did this event happen to the person, or did the person make it happen? How did this event affect the person's life? Is the author simply writing to entertain, or is there something that I can learn from his or her experience? So, lastly, who writes personal narratives? Everyone does. I love that right there. Everyone writes personal narratives. They use informal writing opportunities and experiences come to life for others. So we're going to jump ahead. Here are our authors. As you can see, they are your age and they have written personal narratives. We're going to jump past this one. We'll come back to it at another time. I want to start right here with Mission Beach, San Diego. Look at that beautiful surf. This is definitely going to be a family trip just by the picture and the title that I read. At least I assume. That's my hypothesis. We'll see where it goes. My family and I pulled into the sandy parking lot at the beach. I jumped out of the car, a black convertible. It was very cool of my dad to rent us such a cool car for our vacation in San Diego, California. I was right. Yes. I opened the trunk. I got out a big red beach bag. I carried it to the sunny spot and set up a place for us to settle down. I took in the view of the white sand and the crystal blue water. This place is 20 million times nicer than Corpus Christi. I thought, Corpus Christi, must be where he's from. That's the only other beach I'd ever been to, in Texas and the Gulf of Mexico. No, not where he's from, another trip. Ah, I get it now. Compared with here, that beach was a trash can. The water is brownish and filled with seaweed. Yuck. Then I grabbed a snorkel and a pair of goggles and headed for the Pacific Ocean. I had never snorkeled before. The mask made my head tilt. The flippers made it hard to walk, but I didn't care. It was, what a day. Weather hot enough to go swimming, but not too hot to be outside. I swam with all my might. I put my face in the water and opened my eyes. Under me, I saw a beautiful coral reef. It looked like a picture in a magazine. It was full of bright neon yellows and pinks. There were tons of fish swimming in the schools. Huge clams were everywhere. Just a little stop here because I see I. I. That is the personal perspective. So when you're first person writing, you will do the same. Notice this is going to be your example. I couldn't believe the fish came in so many different shapes, sizes, and patterns. I saw stripes. Oh, we mentioned the five senses. There's saw. I saw dots. I was dazzled by the bright colors. Some of the fish swam right up to me. Then they darted away. Then they did the same thing over again. One tiny fish swam right over my hand. It felt, again, five senses. So weird how the rubbery flippers tickled my hand. Oh, that's a great little description there. The flippers tickled my hand. I have like a mental picture of that happening. Very good writing right there by this gentleman. I also saw a huge fish that looked like it could swallow my whole arm. I stayed away from it. I loved watching the coral reef sway from side to side. It was so relaxing, almost hypnotic, floating with a gentle current. The warm water lapped against my cold body. Again, a feeling. I like that. I can actually feel the warm water and his cold body. That's cool. The sandy ocean floor felt sticky as my feet sank in. I had never felt so peaceful. After a while, I got tired from treading water. I took a clamshell to show my parents and swam back to shore. The clamshell was the size of a $50. It was different from the other clamshells I had collected because I could open and close it. I still have that clamshell. It reminds me of my adventure. It takes me back to that day on that beach, and it reminds me of how lucky I am to have been there. Absolutely wonderful. So he does an amazing job of painting a picture using our sensory words, using first person perspective. What a great story. That is the first personal narrative that we will read. Thank you.